Welcome to the Big Success Podcast, cutting-edge conversations on business and personal success, as well as how to level up. Here's your host, #1 business coach in the world, Brad Sugars.
Facebook marketing, why it beats LinkedIn. Video marketing, success is different to Marlon. He was from the construction industry and the family business, and even though super successful, quit and started again in the IT business, started again, built himself up, started again, built his own business. Now he runs an AI platform, does Facebook marketing for so many people all around the world. Video content stuff that he does is phenomenal. I think you're going to learn a whole bunch. Today's marketing is so different to yesterday's marketing, and Marlon has his finger on the pulse. Let's get some success for you. So, Marlon, let me ask you, what is your definition of the word success?
That's a great question, Brad. I think success for me is having the freedom to do the things that I want to do. I have spent the first part of my career, I was working in a family business. And although I thrived at it, I did well, I actually wasn't happy. And it took me a long time to make a decision to actually leave. So I actually have a defining line in my life where I went from being unhappy and kind of successful to being really happy and not as successful at the beginning. And, for me, the success was doing something I absolutely loved. And when I did that, I started to thrive in every area of my life. And so for me, I think a simple definition is the ability or the freedom to do what you love to do every single day instead of being trapped and doing things that you're forced to do.
There's that old saying of if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I disagree because I think once you start doing what you love, you work a lot harder. Have you found that since you moved across to the IT side of it from construction?
Yeah, I have definitely worked harder, and but I've loved every minute of it because it's a passion now. And for me, it's not hard. You do work hard, but it's a labor of love. It's something that I actually love doing. And the amazing thing for me that I get to do is because I had that defining moment. Every day when I'm working in my businesses and I find things tough, I always get to look back and say, but at least I'm not in construction. It's a good day because at least I love what I do. And so for me, I think that, I've worked hard. When I left the construction industry, I had to start at the bottom of the IT industry. It was actually quite humiliating, but I did it with a smile on my face. I worked harder than anyone in that company. I worked longer hours. I did more study because I wasn't qualified to do it. And they just gave me a chance. And so those were the days I look back on, and I love those days. And I think that really defined who I became.
Yeah. So, but even though construction wasn't your first choice, you still were very successful at it. Where do you think you chose success in your life? Was it as a young boy? Was it something your parents always taught you? Where did you choose success?
Yeah, I think it was around 14 years old, 15. I actually went to a camp where I was exposed to kids from all over the state. And I was at kind of the top of my school. I had achieved everything I kind of could achieve. And then I saw these other kids and I thought, wow, these guys are on a whole nother level. And I decided at that point that I wanted to attend a boarding school to take me to another level in my life. And I'm just 14 years old, 15 years old. And I went back home and I said to my mum and dad, I said, I want to go to boarding school. Now, who do you know, Brad, that says they want to go to boarding school? They get sent to boarding school because they're naughty. But I chose to go. And that was a real defining moment because it was tough. Like I thought it would be all rosy. But when I got into that boarding school, I went from the top again to the bottom. I was not respected at that school. I was from the western suburbs. I spoke differently to these kids. I didn't have all the opportunities I had, and they kind of looked down on me. And I remember the first week, I rang my mum, and she's a South African, mum, and she's ethnic, and she didn't want me to go. And I said, Mum, I want to come home. Like, it's really tough. And she said, come, I'll come and get you now. And I said, you know what? I'll just wait till the end of the week. And in that week, that's when I decided. I said, I will not let this break me. I will work my way to the top. And, 2 years later, I was at the top. I was a leader in the school. I had made a massive impact in my boarding house. And I went from zero to hero. But that defined me and taught me at a very young age that I can push through adversity, I can achieve my goals, and I can be as successful as I want to be in circumstances where I'm not respected. And I think that was the turning point. And I've seen recurring in my life, even when I changed careers, it was the same thing. I saw a vision for my life. I went from the top to the bottom. Very quickly, I was running that company. I was the lowest paid person in that company. And within a year, I was running the company. And I learned that at 14. I learned that at 15 years old.
So what is then your formula for success? Like, how do you see success happening in day to day? Is there a way? Is there a process? What's your formula?
Yeah, it's a great question because I think for me and also for my wife, we're very intentional with what we do, and in some people they let life just do what life wants to do to them, and they just accept it. And I remember a few years back, about 10 years ago, we had a son that was really struggling socially in school, and we had a lot of challenges. And we sat down and said, where do we want to be in 10 years with our personal life? Like, this is not going down the path. There was a lot of stress in the family. He was not doing well. And we intentionally made a decision. We said, we want our life to look like this in 10 years' time. And we had to make some massive changes. We left our state, left our family, whom we love. We don't have issues with our family. We love them, but we left them and we started a new life. And it's amazing to see how that's paid off, Brad. You know, it's been 10 years. So that 10-year vision we had, we've just come up to that 10-year period. And when I look back at what we wanted for him and for our family, we've achieved all of it. But we had to take risk and we had to do things that many people wouldn't do in life. And I think for us, that's how I define success. You know, the ability to get there, it's by being very intentional with your actions and your decisions and your goals.
Got it. So if you were to look at then the relationship between failure and success, how do you see that working? I mean, does failure teach success? Where's your theory on failure and success coming together?
Yeah, I think failure is an important component of success. Now, not all people have to fail a lot in life to be successful. I know that. But I liken it to this. I run a lot of Facebook ads, and Facebook ads is a microcosm of real life because if you put a Facebook ad up, half the time it will be successful and the other half it will fail. Now, what do you do at that point when it fails? When I first started, I used to get depressed and down and this isn't working. But now with a lot of experience, I know that within 3 or 4 days, I can have that campaign running. And I go through a process. I learn from the failure. I have a look and look at the data. I make a change and I run it again. And then I make another change and I run it again. And I learn from the past failure for that campaign. And then I get the campaign working. Now, a lot of people who run Facebook ads just give up. They're like, this isn't going to work. And they say Facebook doesn't work. But I know. I've seen it happen over and over again where I've taken a failure and made it a success. And I think I'm really blessed because some people in life, when they fail, it takes them 3 months, 3 years to get back to see success. But on a weekly basis, I'm seeing failure turn to success with Facebook ads. And when you see that, Brad, over and over again, when you see something that doesn't work become flourishing, you start to realize that, yeah, failure isn't a bad thing. Failure is something that you use to find success. And I think I'm really blessed to be in that environment on almost a daily basis. And I just wish that a lot of people could understand that failure and success are intricately linked. And whenever there's a failure, you can always bring a success out.
Do you think that takes a certain mindset to do that? Or is that something that's just natural to you? Or do people have to learn that mindset?
I think you need to learn it. I think I had to learn because I remember when I first started running ads, I was very negative. I was always down. My emotions were up and down. It was a very tough business to be in. And now I'm even keeled. I have, Brad, I do workshops with business owners and they're live, like they're on. I was on one this morning and they're all there and I teach them to run ads and half of those ads aren't going to work. And I'm in a public forum where I've told them what to do and the ads fail. And they come to me and they're a little upset. They're like, Marlon, it's not working. Like we've been all this time and it's not working. And at that point in front of an audience, I can crumble or I can say, that's okay. Let's just make a change. And I've learned over time in that forum to not start sweating and get upset. I just know it's a matter of time. If I make this change, I get that result. If I make this change, and it's amazing how those calls used to stress me out, and now there's zero stress. I've learned how to embrace failure and to use it and to know how to deal with it to lead to success.
You're on the Big Success Podcast. I'm Brad Sugars. We're going to be back, and Marlon is going to take us through video marketing, Facebook advertising. We're going to get into some of the deep dive secrets.
In Instant Repeat Business, Brad Sugars shows you how to cultivate a big base of loyal customers who buy, and buy again. It's packed with methodologies and strategies that will help any business owner attract and keep loyal customers. Pick up your copy of Instant Repeat Business today.
And we're back. Big Success. So, Marlon, let's start with video marketing, because content marketing, it's all the rage. What are some of the secrets to doing great video marketing?
Yeah, I think one of the secrets that I found, and Brad, everything I teach and I do, I always do myself and I consistently do. And what I found with me is one of the secrets with video is to be consistent, and to just do it. I think so many people, I think, I'm just guessing, but maybe the top 1% or 5% of businesses actually use video. So if you just do it, you're already ahead. But one of the secrets that I found with video content is that if you teach and you educate your audience, then people will find that content. If you answer questions that they're looking for on Google or on YouTube, then they find it and they start to binge watch your content if you niche down. So if you create a whole bunch of videos on one topic that a small group of people really find important or answers their problems, they will find those videos. And when they watch the first, the second, the fourth, the 10th video, because people are trained to binge watch now through Netflix, they actually see you as an authority. And it's amazing how small businesses, see, we always liken ourselves to Mr. Beast, the biggest YouTuber in the world. Can I achieve that? To Dude Perfect, all these big Gary V, we say, could I be as good as them? You don't have to be successful in video. What you have to do is say, who is my target audience? Who is the person that could be a client? Make videos just for them, and don't go for views and subscribers. Go for a small group of people who could be clients that could pay you thousands of dollars. Now, one of the things that I love telling this story, because I have 4 boys and I've let them start YouTube channels. We restrict them with social media for various reasons. But they have YouTube channels, and one of them has more subscribers than me because he does Fortnite games, right? And so they were making fun of me one day at dinner. They're saying, Dad, you've been doing this for years, and look, he has more subscribers than you. And I got a little offended. I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't right. They shouldn't be doing that to me. And then I thought to myself, they're having a lot of fun making fun of me. And then there's a great movie called Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I think. And they say in there, the line is, don't get mad, get even. So I said to them, okay, boys, you may have more subscribers, but how much money have you made from your channel? And they're like, well, none, Dad, because I have to get 4,000 views or subscribers and all these numbers. And I'm like, do you know how much I've made? They're like, well, how much? I said, the food you're eating has come from the videos of my YouTube channel. I said, I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars, and because I don't care about subscribers, because my watchers, the people who watch, actually pay me money, boys. And I felt really powerful at that point, Brad. I felt like I destroyed the boys and they didn't have a comeback. And it's vanity metrics amounts. No, I'm not saying that you shouldn't want more. I'm just saying you don't have to. If you do it right, you don't have to. And many small business owners, Brad, don't have the capacity to grow a massive YouTube channel, but they do have the capacity to grow a powerful YouTube channel for their business. And that's what I'm all about.
Let's talk about the actual videos. What are some of the things that we need to make sure we're doing for our videos to be getting the views and then bringing us the customers too?
Yeah, I think the most important thing that I found with my videos when I started being successful is I will always talk to the problems that my prospects have and show them how to solve those problems. There's a great quote by a psychologist called Wyatt Woodsmore, And it says, if you can articulate someone's problem better than they can, they'll automatically and unconsciously credit you with having the solution. And I heard that quote about 10 years ago, and I've actually designed my whole business and marketing around that quote. So every video I create, every Facebook ad I create, every marketing material I create, I always say, what is the problem that my client has? And then I go and try and describe it so well that they say to themselves, he must have the solution. It's like a doctor, right? You go to a doctor and they say, does it hurt when I touch here? Does it hurt when you lift your arm? Does it hurt? And they describe the pain so well, you think, well, this guy must have the answer. And then they give you this medication that'll probably kill you in 10 years and you take it anyway. And so doctors have authority because doctors ask good questions and doctors speak to pain. And that's what we need to do in our videos. We need to say, what's the problem? And then we help them solve the problem in the video. And there's a script you can use for that. It's very easy once you have a script. It's a formula. And then at the end of every video, Brad, I always ask people, if you need help with that, book a strategy call with me, and then we'll go through these things. I turn it from a sales meeting into a workshop. And, you know, I've had so many people who book appointments in my calendar, Brad, and they say to me, I say, why did you book the call? They say, Marlon, every video you create, you say book an appointment. And so I booked an appointment. And I always laugh because I think, well, you know, I thought they would have booked the appointment because they saw value. But it actually makes a difference to people. They remember you saying it if they watch the video all the way through.
Yeah, I gotta love that. All right, so let's talk about then advertising. You spend a ton of money of your own, but also other people's money you invest on their behalf in Facebook advertising. What is it that you love about Facebook from an advertising perspective?
Yeah, Facebook is so powerful. It's probably the number one platform on the planet that's affordable for small business and business owners to use, but super powerful because it has almost 3 billion people on it. I think the reason I love it so much is because if you know how to use it and you know about what I talked about before, describing people's pain point, showing them a solution on Facebook, you have access to almost everybody. And a lot of people say to me, Marlon, but I'm in B2B and I deal with CEOs. They're not on Facebook. I should use LinkedIn. And I say, well, LinkedIn doesn't work with ads. Not now, it doesn't. Do you know why? And they say, why? And I say, because the average person spends 40 minutes to an hour a day on Facebook. And the average person spends about half an hour a month on LinkedIn. So although LinkedIn is perfect for B2B, it's got all your prospects on there, but they're just not visiting it. So when you show ads, it's very expensive and you get very low throughput. But Facebook, that CEO, is he not a father? Is he not a husband? You know, is he not a human being? And a lot of them are on Facebook because their families are on Facebook. And also, although they don't do business on Facebook, they do life on Facebook. And so when you put an ad that speaks to his problem that he's having in his business right now, he thinks you have the solution. He'll click the ad and you'll follow through. And that's why I think Facebook is so powerful. For my business, personally, I've grown my business. You know, Brad, I am an Australian and 80% of my client base is in America. And I've actually never stepped foot in America. And the reason is because they've all come through Facebook ads. They've all come through Facebook ads. All of my clients were, and now I get referrals, but I've grown that myself using the strategies I teach, and I couldn't have done it without Facebook.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the ads themselves. Defining the key thing is a major part of it. What else makes the ads work?
I think your attitude is a big thing. There's a couple of things, but there are different types of ads. Like if you look at online marketing, it's important to understand the journey people have to go through. And so, you know, what I use Facebook for is to build a database of people who could be prospects. And so the first step in online marketing is actually, how do you build a database of people who could be clients? And that database could be a Facebook retargeting audience. It could be an email list. It could be a Facebook group, right? But you've got a group of people. Then the key is to say, how do I get that person who's a prospect, could be a client, to actually book an appointment? And that's where you make your money, Brad. If you can figure out how to get someone from a lead to an appointment, you'll make millions of dollars. And that's where most people fall over. You know, it's easy to generate leads on Facebook. I can put up an ad tomorrow and I can generate lots of leads. But can I get that lead to book an appointment? And that's the key with Facebook. And there's many things you have to do with that. So typically on Facebook, I will offer something for free. That's an easy opt-in, but I always get the phone number. And why do I get the phone number? Because I want to call them. I think it's a vanity metric when you say, I have 1,000 people in my database, and you can email them for the next 10 years and none of them become clients. But if you have 100 people in your database and you have the phone number and you call each person, you'll probably make 3 sales instantly. And so the key is to combine online marketing with old school sales and marketing, and that's why I've been successful. I've had the ability, because I used to be a sales and marketing manager. When I left the construction industry, I became the sales and marketing manager of a software development company. And I was measured not on marketing, Brad. I was measured on sales, even though I was the marketing manager. My CEO didn't care about marketing. We used to sell deals that were $500,000 to $1 million software deals. And he never said to me once, Marlon, how's the marketing going? He always said, Marlon, how many sales have you made? So I learned very quickly that marketing is there to generate leads and sales is there to close those leads, to convert those leads into sales. And I know that even if you are not great at marketing, but you can cold call, you can actually make sales. Marketing it's not as important as sales, even though I'm a marketer. Like my whole business is marketing, but I think I do well, Brad, is because I understand that marketing is not the most important thing. Sales is the most important thing. And because I understand that, everything I do in lead generation on marketing, I follow up with the sales process to convert them.
Love it. So let's just throw a little bit on AI in here. You have some amazing AI tools in your agency in Voyager where people can create video that the AI splits it up and does all that stuff. I just want to do a little bit of, before we get into using AI, mentality towards AI. I think a lot of people are scared of it or not sure of it at this stage. What are your thoughts on what it's going to do and where it's going to go?
Yeah, look, I think it's like most things in life. When it's new, people are scared, and then when they get to use it, they realize it's not as bad as what they thought it was. And so with AI, I'm actually very excited about it. Look, my industry, marketing, is the industry that will potentially be decimated by AI. AI is perfect for marketing. It writes Facebook ads now better than most people can write them. It does video, it creates videos, it does everything. But am I scared? Not in the least. Because I see my job now is to use AI to take my intellectual property and to go faster, do a better quality job, and scale to more clients. And as a business owner, you shouldn't be scared of AI. You should be answering those questions. How can I use AI to do my job faster, to have a better quality product or service, and to reach more people? And if you have that mentality, you can see how AI can actually make you more money. But if you have the alternate, attitude where you're like, well, what if I lose my job, I lose the industry? I can't think like that, Brad. It's coming. And what I've done is I've taken my intellectual property that I've used and I've converted into an AI app. And we literally do that. We literally have a better quality service. We do it in a fraction of the time, and we can now reach more people. And that is much more lucrative than doing it without AI. But that's the mentality business owners have to have. They have to think of it of how can I use it to make my business better and more effective.
You're on the Big Success Podcast. I'm Brad Sugars. We're going to be back. Marlon's going to talk to us about scaling your marketing when we get back, going from good to great.
Marlon Marescia started his career by leading his family's construction business until he decided to drastically change industries and move into IT. Today, Marlon is an expert in online lead generation and video marketing. To learn more about Marlon Marescia, please visit marlonmarescia.com.
And we're back. Marlon, I want to talk about scale on marketing because a lot of people will get a Facebook ad doing something and then they just can't scale it. What's the difference between marketing that is okay and marketing that really scales?
Yeah, I think you need to have a very clear objective of what you're trying to accomplish. It's amazing, Brad, how many people I speak to and I say they're doing some sort of marketing and I say, well, what's the outcome? What do you want from that? And they're like, well, I don't know. Like I'm running the ad and people are coming to the website. I'm like, so what are they going to do when they get there? And they're like, I'm not sure. Are they going to sign up? They're like, I guess they'll buy. Well, they're not going to buy. Just sending people to the website isn't going to buy. And when you're running an ad where there is no clear path a client has to take to make a sale, then what you'll do is spend money and eventually just stop spending money because it doesn't work. And so the key to scaling and really making this thing work is to say, what is the clear path that someone has to go through to actually see an ad and become a client? And so a good example is this. I love Stephen Covey, he says start with the end in mind. So with an ad, I start with the end in mind. I say, what do I actually want from this ad? And we say, well, we want a sale. Well, what's the step before that? Well, the step before that is a sales meeting where we give the proposal. Well, what's the step before that? It's an initial meeting. What's the step before that? It's a phone call. Well, what's the step before that? It's a lead with a phone number. And what's the step before that? It's a Facebook ad. So the Facebook ad needs to give me the ability to get a phone number so I can call the person, so I can book them into the first call, so I can book them into a proposal call, so I can close them into a client. And when you build that path out and your ad isn't working and you're not getting even a phone number, you change the ad. Then when you get the ad working and you're getting phone numbers, but the quality of the lead, they're not the right people, you change the ad so it is the right people. And then when you get them on the call and you book the first meeting, well, now it's a sales problem. So and that's how I've been able to scale and to build my own business as well as others, because I don't just think of marketing. Like I said before, I think of the end goal. The end goal is always sales.
Well, I want to talk to, because a lot of people look at marketing as, I guess, more hunting. You seem to have a much more farming approach to it. Get them, talk to them, build a relationship. Why do you go for more of the farming approach than that hunting approach?
The reason is because I'm a marketer. So, if I'm honest, I think there's a much easier way to grow a business. It's gut-wrenching. It's difficult. It's not fun, but it's cold calling. If you want to grow a business pretty fast, you get a list of companies and you just call them. Now, I know, Brad, you've had a lot of experience with cold calling, right? And you know it works. But why did we stop doing it? Because, and the reason people don't do it now is because it's difficult. We're in a world where everyone wants something easy. They want the easy path, but there is no easy path. But the reason why I have this farming mentality is because I know the number one thing I can do is to just cold call. I know that. I admit it and I deal with it. But the next approach is to generate the lead. And then once you have the lead, you have to actually get them on the call. And because I'm a marketer and I'm very good at online, I figured out ways to touch people, to speak into their life or their business using online tools where I don't have to do it personally. And then what happens is over time, because I'm doing it en masse, people just drop into my calendar. So, what I basically do is once someone comes into my database, I'll send them a weekly email. So I'll record a video. I'll take that video and repurpose it into a weekly email. I send that every week. Now they're seeing me. They may not be watching the video, but they're seeing my name. Secondly, I'll take that video, I'll put it on Facebook as a retargeting ad, and I'll show it to anyone on my email list, anyone that visits my website, anyone that likes my pages, or anyone that watches a previous video. Now, every week, when that person who's on my list goes to Facebook, they're seeing me teach them about all their problems and how to solve them. I then take that video, I put it on YouTube, I put it on the blog, and they have an opportunity to find me on YouTube. And finally, I put it all over social media on my LinkedIn profile. And so now I'm touching them on LinkedIn, maybe Facebook, maybe through an ad, maybe through an email. And all of that is automated. I don't have to do that manually. But you know what happens over time is that when that person has watched me so many times over 3 to 6 months and they book a call, the roles are reversed. I'm not selling to them anymore. They're selling themselves to me. They kind of see me as someone who's known and a bit of a celebrity. To them, not to the world. I'm a celebrity to a very small amount of people. And so I find that those deals actually come in a lot quicker than deals where someone is cold to me. I get a lead from Facebook and they book straight away. That person's very hard to sell. But if I get a lead and they're in my database for 3 months and then they book, that person's much easier to sell to.
Yeah. I do love that thought of I'm famous to the right group of people type thing. Whenever my kids, I got some very famous musician buddies and stuff, and my kids see them and go, yeah, they're super famous. Everyone comes up to them. When someone comes up to me in an airport or at a Disney World and they go, Dad, how does that person know you? It's like, I've written 18 books, kid, and Dad's quite famous in his area. They're like, no, it doesn't work that way. Buddy, I want to talk about then if you look at success in marketing, what's your definition of successful marketing?
Yeah, that's a great question. Look, I think successful marketing is when you can get someone who knows, who wants your product, and then get them to book an appointment. In a service-based business, if it's a product-based business, it's to buy the product, right? But really, it's about finding someone who could be a client and then getting them to take the next step. I think that's all marketing is. What we tend to have in marketing, a whole bunch of marketers who think branding is important. Now, if you're a Coca-Cola, of course, branding is important. But when most of us aren't Coca-Cola, we don't have the budget, and we don't have our product in every service station and every supermarket where people can just buy it every 5 minutes. They can buy it. So success in marketing for me isn't about branding and just getting people to see us. It's getting people to trust us. And I think for me, that's helped me in my businesses because I haven't wasted time and energy on marketing strategies that are just vanity metrics. So when it comes to social media, you can see that I do social media, but I put my faith in email marketing, in lead generation, in Facebook retargeting. And so I do those things because you'd have to do them, but I don't think that I'm just going to get a new client worth $20,000 from a Facebook post. I include it in the strategy, but I know where it's going to come from. It's going to come from those other hard-hitting marketing strategies.
Marlon, final question. In your life, what is sort of the best advice or the best quote you ever heard on the subject of success?
Yeah, I think probably the best one that stuck with me the longest was I went to an event by myself when I was about 20, and it was Zig Ziglar. I had no idea who he was, and he changed my life, that one talk, just watching him as a human being. But he said in that, you can have anything in life you want if you just help as many people get what they want in life. And, I've been in service-based businesses my whole life, and I took that to heart. I'm a bit of a stickler, Brad, so I'll see something and I'll just do it. And, my whole life, I've just tried to serve people. And I've got a client that, they came to me and I knew they were a great client, and I never sold them once. I just served them. I just said, what do you need? And at the end of the call, I said, see ya. And then I called them back, said, what do you need? Booked a call. And at the end of it, I said, do you need anything else? They said, no. I said, bye. Never once put a proposal in, even talked about me working with them. And then they came back to me a couple of months later and said, Marlon, we need you. Just tell us what you can do for us. That was just service. I just knew that if I could serve that client, that particular client, I don't do that with everyone, but with that client, I just knew that service. And I really do believe that in a service-based business, just help your clients try to achieve their goals and your dreams come true too.
You're on the Big Success Podcast. This is Marlon. He's amazing. Check the show notes. We'll be back next week with more of your success.
And that's the Big Success Podcast for today. Hopefully you took a lot of notes, learned a whole bunch, and if you need to, go re-listen to it. We dropped a lot of information right there today. Big success is what it's all about. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button so you're here with us every single week on the Big Success Podcast. I'm Brad Sugars. That's BS. Big success is what we're shooting for. Check the show notes for all the links. Make sure you follow through. Keep learning. Keep coming back. Oh, and by the way, share this with any of your friends who you know are up for success. I'll see you next week on the Big Success Podcast.
You've been listening to the Big Success Podcast with the #1 business coach in the world, Brad Sugars. To learn more about how to achieve business and personal success, as well as how to level up or listen to past episodes, visit www.bradsugars.com.